to 5 weeks around the corner. Okay, so that's the schedule. All right, and then anything here? Okay, so let's jump into the group presentation guidelines. Okay, so what we're gonna do for your final project, that is one of the most important tasks for you guys to finish this strategy course. Okay, and then I would like you to apply what you have learned so far from the lecture. Okay, from the analysis framework to analyze a real case company. Okay, that's the basic idea. And then can we recap together quickly what's the kind of the frameworks you guys have been learned so far from the lecture? So what's the framework? Guys, do you remember what's the frameworks you learned from, let's say, external analysis, okay? And then also internal, right? What's the framework from external analysis?
5 forces.
Yeah, very good. Okay, 5 forces model. Okay, what others?
Pastel.
Pastel, yeah, good. Wait a second. So that's from the external analysis, right? How about the internal analysis? I feel I heard SWOT. Yeah, very. I think someone said SWOT, right? Yes. Okay, good. SWOT analysis. What others?
VR.
Yeah, good. Go ahead. Yeah. Very good. Well done. VRIO framework. Okay, I think there's one more. Okay, it's RVB, okay. So there are several frameworks you learn from external internal analysis. And also, I think chapter 5, there's like a business model analysis, okay? And also performance, company financial performance analysis, firm performance analysis, okay? So there are so many frameworks we have learned, right, in the past few months. And what I'd like you to do is, can you apply those frameworks into the real world case analysis? Perhaps analyzing the company and think about you were a consultant, okay, for that company. So the idea is, let's go to the topics, okay? So apply those frameworks into the case company. Ideally, please select new ventures. So I think a few weeks ago, we mentioned about it is very important to study new ventures because that is very important to create job opportunities in the economy, especially in Taiwan today, okay? So let's recap this, okay? We define what entrepreneurial venture is, how that differentiate from the traditional SMV models like the one you can see on another side, okay? So for an entrepreneurial venture, it needs to have a kind of the characteristics, like it need to be somehow innovative, okay? And then also, ideally, okay, need to meet 2 criteria. Okay, if it's a new EV, okay. What's the criteria, okay? So the first one, it needs to be innovative. And the second one, ideally, okay, it established in the past less than 8 years, okay. According to the definition by Ministry of Small Business in Taiwan, okay, ideally less than 8 years, okay, but you definitely need to meet these criteria. For this one, try your best. Okay, so select one EV to analyze and apply those frameworks, okay, to analyze the case company. Okay, so that's what you're gonna do. And think about, okay, like you were hired by this EV to analyze the industry, to analyze the external environment, to analyze the internal strengths, weakness of your company, and then how you gonna make strategic recommendations to your CEO. Okay, so remember this word, okay? You are a consultant. Okay, to this EV. Analyze external environment internally, and then how to make strategic recommendations. Okay, so that's the topics. Now let's go back, let's move on to the grading criteria. So what we're gonna do, you will be present in the final week, okay, and then in terms of the grading criteria, I will look into your presentation analysis. In terms of your framework analysis, did you use the correct frameworks to analyze efficiently and correctly? Okay, that's the analysis content. Others like your oral presentation, and then teamwork, and also peer assessment. Okay, we're gonna ask everyone in the class to vote, okay, for your final presentations. Okay, so that's the grading criteria, and then okay, in terms of instruction, okay, so this will be a presentation layout, and in terms of duration, okay, guys, please pay attention to the slides here, okay? So the duration will be 8 minutes. So also, guys, I want to remind you, you can also download the slides on the e-learning now, because it's a lot of content here.
Okay, the class material is still on the homepage of the strategy management, so you can see the lecture slides here, and you can download it. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, go onto the e-learning to download, okay? Because there are a lot of content here. I want you to make sure seeing the content, okay? So. Where we were, in terms of the guideline, okay, the duration, okay, of your presentation will be 8 minutes. And all of your group members need to present. Okay, and then the last point here, I would really appreciate, okay, you create your slides, present like a consulting intern. Okay, what I mean is, later, we will discuss about different consulting presentations, and do your best to follow the consulting presentation structure, layouts, and then create similar files like that. Okay, that's one suggestion. Another second suggestions I would say would be if it's a consultant, you need to deliver precisely. Okay, and the presentation only have 8 minutes. How you gonna deliver your presentation efficiently, precisely, within 8 minutes? Okay, so that's really like consultant, okay? Like when we deliver presentation to my potential clients or to my clients, we need to be really, really precise. Okay, like any redundant information, always try to delete. I always try to delete. Only say straight to the point and your results. Okay, because we want to be like a consultant. Okay, so that's the in terms of guidance. Okay, so now let's move into the structure of your presentation. I would suggest you to have the 6 sessions like the slides here. Okay, start with the introduction. Tell us a bit more about your EV. Okay, what's the kind of the business you are doing? What's the services? What's the industry? Okay, which industry you are operating, etc. And then move on to the session 2. Okay, which is the most important, okay, session. That's your analysis. Okay, so in session 2 here, That's where you're gonna apply all the external, internal analysis or business model frameworks to analyze. Okay, so I would say for the good consulting presentation, okay, good final project, depends on session 2 a lot. Okay, so that's where I'm gonna evaluate if you analyze the case company correctly. Okay, so that's session 2. And then session 3, also very important. So after all your analysis, can you make a conclusion? Tell us what is your strategic recommendation to your company, to your CEO, or to your clients. Okay, and the other thing, if you have like references, you can put in onto the footnote section or in the appendix section. Okay, either way is fine. And then another thing, if you have a lot of slides, materials to share, but limited to 8 minutes presentation time, then you can have the appendix session where you can put additional information layer for me to look at after the presentations. Okay, so that's the kind of structure of the final presentation. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation guideline and topics, okay? And any questions, guys?